So this is what I'm trying to say in this chapter, Everything is a Bet. I'm doing this while I'm walking. I was going to do it at 1 o'clock. I'm doing it a little bit earlier because I think I'm going to be having lunch at 1 o'clock. This is what I wanted to say about Everything is a Bet. Everything has got risks associated with it, so it is a bet. The hope with projects is that they're going to pay off big, but they have risks associated with them. So it is like rolling the dice. It is like betting on red or black or even number 13 in a casino. But in big organisations especially, and actually I'm not sure if it's just in big organisations, maybe it's in small ones as well, people don't want to look like gamblers. They want to look reasonable and sensible and grown up. And so there's an awful lot of project management theatre involved in kind of showing that this is possible, that it's not risky, that it's sensible, that it's doable. And that's mainly what roadmaps and the kinds of things that you see in Microsoft Project are. They're kind of project management theatre. They're pretending that there aren't lots of risks. And the point that I started off making when I was writing this was that there are lots of ways of de-risking projects using agile project management approaches. Well, one is delivering some software early, so that drastically reduces the risk that the thing's not going to pay off because of some kind of technical problem, that you can't get the thing to stand up at all, that you can't find servers, all those kinds of things, and that there are regulators that just prevent it from being launched. So you de-risk the project, you make smaller bets. Another way of kind of de-risking projects is kind of, what might be cheating. It's like getting inside information by using user research to find out what people actually want, what they're going to engage with. And you can combine these two as doing user research on working software. So you can write some of the software and then get user research on how it's been responded to. And you can use that to kind of vastly de-risk the project. But the other thing that I realized when I was writing about it this morning is that sometimes you reach a decision point where you have to vastly increase the risk of the project. You see a point and you say, well, okay, in order to get where we think you want to go, you're going to have to spend more money. Very often this is like there's a missing piece. So there's something that we need to buy, there is some staff that we need to pay to do something related to the site. So kind of moderation is a classic example. You had this enthusiasm for a platform, you forgot that people were going to say terrible things on it, and you're going to need some kind of moderation. There's this extra piece that if you want to play and win, you're probably going to have to pay for. And so one of the things that I found myself thinking a lot on projects is they get to a point where you think, do you want this project or don't you? Because if you do want this project, you're probably going to have to increase the risk. It's a bit like, another round of betting. There's going to be another round of betting here if you want this thing to pay off. And one of the worst things that can happen in this kind of situation is, I think anyway, because this has happened to me, that people decide not to increase the risk, but also not to stop the project, which is kind of like, doesn't really have an analogy in like poker or any other gambling thing. I think it's like, so I'm not going to increase my bet to get the payoff, which is what I really need to do. I'm just going to carry on with the bet that I've got. And that's kind of a miserable place to be in if you're working on a project. And ultimately it's a miserable place to be if you're the person who made the bet.